This whole building across the street is in the conspiracy. I mean, look at them there. That whole building's been flipped. They're all at their windows. Go figure, that's where my friend at one time, Teresa McNaughton, used to live. Rat bitch. You can hear the city whistles, as we'll call them, going off in the background. There's no other purpose for that other than to make noise. Tonight's a pretty dead night. I figure martial law set in for the majority of the city, other than people who don't follow it, like myself. Probably shortly after midnight. Ever since then, the whole city's been a dead zone. Off in that distance, way off in the distance, you'll hear the horns. The trains that go by do that too. It's a way to manipulate and segregate society, put people in fear. That's all it is. Across the street there, we've got four different sides of the street. It's a four-way stop, and on all sides of the pedestrian walkway. They have torn them up. They did the same thing about a block north of there. Now, the thing about this is, I did concrete construction, in the labor work of it, for a long time for Dan Mose, and shit. And I also have been in San Diego and seen a part of a city torn down in one day and been completely different and built up the next day. So I'm pretty goddamn sure that they can fill this shit that they're tearing up, rather than just tearing it up and putting obstructions, especially in the pedestrian walkways, and also on the streets for the drivers too. Tear up roads and shit that are perfectly paved. Tear up streets. It's a way to control society. If something is in the area that they don't like, they'll manipulate it. They'll tear it down. They'll flip it. They'll use sirens and emergency vehicles with their sirens blaring to segregate and control a crowd, kind of like a cattle herder controlling. They figure, well, nobody's going to want to be around if we go around blaring sirens. And if you're going to do something, whatever it is, and say it's any time of day or night, and you get a feeling too many times that the trains that are going by are just blocking you, or something's amiss as they're stopped on the tracks just as you seem to be going by, that is not coincidence, folks. They've done it to me in my vehicle rides and drives a lot, and they do it all the time. If I'm in an area, you'll hear probably sirens, you'll probably see some funny weather, you'll see a lot of things out of the ordinary. So, what that does is that puts people in fear, and it makes them want to stay inside after an hour or a certain hour, or act like they're asleep, or do anything other than being an adult, doing whatever the fuck you want to do at any goddamn time of the day or night. I don't have a curfew. I don't have a bedtime. And I sure as fuck, when I was a kid, I had to be in before dark. I sure as fuck, as an adult, I'm not going to be told what fucking time I have to be in, and what time I got to go to bed, and what my dress fucking code is going to be. I notice, not just here in Iowa, but all over the country, because I travel occasionally, it's the condition that nobody will take their shirt off or wear comfortable clothes in the summer. I am like one of the only, there's others, but that is not afraid to take off their goddamn shirt. I'm not pointing that out because for any other reason than, yeah, it was summer. It was like California. It's like people are in fear to take off their shirts and fucking look good. It's like, over here we have what's called the underground. I don't know. I'm a pretty good reader, if anybody knows what that means. What upset me about it when I originally came across it was I read it. And I saw that. I went to Sioux Christian as a kid. So I saw that like banister over to the side there with the emblem of the underground and with like a light off in the distance, making it look like a club. And I thought, this is a little strange with bars on the back sides of the children, like the window is on the basement. So I walked in there the first time. I noticed it to be strange. Saw a guy walking up the steps. I said, hey, where's the underground? He said, oh, it's down there. I said, what's that, some sort of nightclub? He said, no. Oh, that's just kind of a thing for kids. I thought, yeah. All right. Well, it looked kind of like a nightclub scene. And I noticed the bars on the back windows, it seemed kind of amiss to me. He just walked on his way, going back up the stairs, obviously a worker in that fucking shrewd little, I don't know. I have an ability to sense and read certain energies and pain. And far too often in this country, especially these days, pedophiles, known pedophiles, not people that are accused or just in setup, known baby rapers that are allowed to walk free all over this goddamn country with protection from the government, because you know why? They fucking bent over. Metaphorically, they got out of their sentences. There's people in government, in all walks of life. Pedophilia is just fucking wrong. And, I don't know what the answer is. That it's not going to get done. I wouldn't say throw them in jail. I'd say throw them in a fucking river. But that's just my thoughts on it. But yes, there are government-known sex rings, adult sex rings. I've been across this country, places like California. Nothing wrong with California or anywhere I've been, but I've read a lot of things like this where, yeah, I haven't seen it firsthand because that shit doesn't go on in front of me, but I see a lot of remnants of it. I come to find out about things. There's people of prominence all over this country who are allowed to walk amongst the people because they might have what have you, money, stature, government status, fucking just being a fucking pedophile that gets let out of jail to become a confidential fucking informant. They get fucking walk free all over this country while nonviolent, consensual possessors or ingestors of a substance are doing fucking decades and fucking torture, psychological torture more so, behind bars in terrible conditions for doing nothing wrong. It's a crime against humanity that we have people who are consenting adults to possess something or ingest something at their own will are doing time. You go up to South Dakota, they got ingestion laws. I'm sure there's other states. You simply get drawn into the station and they take your blood, and you've got a substance in your system, say amphetamines, say opiates, or heroin, whatever it be. That's ingestion. That's a felony. That's a fucking felony. They're throwing guys in prison for habitual offender for public intox. Are you fucking kidding me? Making people do serious jail time for being intoxicated? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't drink that much anymore, but I have been in the past, and I certainly have empathy for that state of mind, and surely it's freest and most accepted substance in this country. Why? I don't think it should be illegal. I don't think anything should be. It should be decriminalized. What happens in decriminalized civilizations, as is going on in certain countries overseas, when you decriminalize all substances, what happens is the price of the substances go down. People who generally can't afford much anyway can, like, at least afford what they're going to get anyway, but they're not, like, fucking, crime rates go down because people don't, the price is lower. And people who didn't do them to begin with generally won't do them anyway. Crime rates down, conditions improve. The economy goes back to stable. There's a lot more people not in prison able out to do, adult things, consensual adult things, rather than consensual adults being allowed to roam free who knowingly go around and rape little kids. Are you fucking kidding me? There's a reason I'm able to walk around is because I don't give into this shit, and I'm trying to at some point get the rest of everybody to see it's just a fucking psycho fucking manipulation. You've been fucking tricked. You've been duped. I learned something earlier today. It's better to be wrong or say that I'm wrong about, like, initially blaming somebody for doing something. Thankfully, I found out they didn't. And why I was glad to be wrong is because I was glad that I had some people in my life that stood up and took care of me, even though I've been fucked with so much. My first instinct was to, drug reaction. Well, I think it's time this goddamn country and the people that have been for too long fucking bullied and fucking imprisoned and fucking feared, intimidated, it's high time that we admit that we were all wrong at some point, some more than others. Because what happens then is things can improve, fuck. I don't think throwing everybody who ever did anything wrong in prison is certainly the way to go, but I mean, like, in the government and all that shit, because, what do we need? More oversight, more legislation, more focus groups? Fuck no. We just gotta fucking, the ones that are still left here, it was a fucking trick. Whatever they made you believe, whatever they gave you, when they weed things down this small, who do you think they're going to go after next? Nobody's certainly living in comfortable conditions when they're in fear for their lives. They're going to weed you down next. If you're scared, you should be. Because this is happening all over this country. It's not a bubble just here in Sioux City or anywhere in this country. It's all over this fucking nation. So, the ones that are here left, we can't just worry about thinking only about ourselves. We have to look out for everybody. That doesn't mean by calling the police every time you see something fucking you think is wrong, because that's never the answer. Certainly, I'm glad that there's a basic entity that, if somebody breaks into my mom and dad's house, yeah, surely, yeah, they can call 911 and somebody's going to be there. But calling because your neighbor did something you didn't like, or you just want to fucking, something about them and you just don't like them, so you're just going to turn them in and rat them out. I mean, that shit's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Well, that's it for now.